Hey, y'all, let me take you back to a time when my little corner of the world turned upside down, when a sleepy Montana town called Willow Creek became the stage for a fight nobody saw coming. Picture this, a dusty old bus stop, paint peeling off the bench, the kind of place where time seems to have hit pause since the 80s. That's where I, Anna Harper, first saw trouble brewing. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a bad day. It was the spark that lit a fire in our town, one that'd change everything. I was 14, standing at that bus stop, my leg brace creaking as I shifted my weight, trying to blend into the background. See, I was born with a condition that made walking a chore, and in a small town like Willow Creek, being different was like wearing a neon sign that screamed Target. My backpack was heavy with books, my heart heavier with the usual dread of facing the day. Then I heard the rumble 3 motorcycles, sleek and shiny, nothing like the beat-up hogs you'd expect around here. The riders, led by a guy named Derek Deke Walsh, rolled up, their leather jackets sporting these ugly crow patches, smirking like they owned the place. Deke, all swagger and mirrored shades, sauntered over, his boots scuffing the pavement. "Hey, Gimpy, this spot's for folks who can actually sprint for the bus," he sneered, snatching my backpack and tossing it like it was nothing. Papers scattered everywhere, my math homework fluttering like sad little birds. I whispered, "Please, just leave me alone," but my voice got lost in the growl of their engines. Deke leaned in close, his breath reeking of cheap smokes. "What's that, kid? Gotta speak up." Before I could shrink further into myself, I heard Ida's steady tap, step, tap, step, cutting through the morning like a warning shot. It was Ellie Morgan, the woman who ran the Rusty Spoon Diner, limping toward us with a cane carved from dark wood, her chestnut hair catching the sunlight. She was 37, with eyes that looked like they'd seen the world's worst and come out swinging. "Step away from the girl," she said, her voice calm but sharp, like a blade wrapped in silk. Deke turned, his smirk twisting. "Well, look at this, the diner lady playing hero. Move, cripple, this ain't your fight." Ellie didn't blink. She just stared him down, and something in her gaze cold, steady, dangerous made Deke pause. "Last time someone called me that," she said, her voice dropping low, he regretted it for a long, long time. Her smile was tight, not reaching her eyes, and in the distance, I swear I heard more engines, faint but growing louder, like a storm rolling in. Now, Willow Creek wasn't much just a speck on the map, the kind of place where the biggest news was the high school football score or who burned their pie at the county fair. The Rusty Spoon was the heart of it, with its chipped Formica counters and a jukebox that still played Johnny Cash. Ellie had taken over the diner a year ago, and folks were skeptical at first. Small towns don't trust outsiders easy. But her coffee was strong, her blueberry pie was a revelation, and she had this quiet way of making you feel seen. Still, there was always something about her, like she was watching, waiting, her eyes scanning every face that walked through her door. I'd seen her keep a pair of mirrored sunglasses by the register, angled just so she could watch the entrance without turning around. Nobody questioned it, though not out loud. That morning at the diner, I was nursing a hot cocoa, extra marshmallows, while Ellie helped me with algebra. Sheriff Tom Ballard, pushing 70 but still built like a linebacker, was sipping his 4th coffee, his old Colt .45 holstered like it was part of him. He'd been a Marine, served in places like Desert Storm, and his silver beard didn't hide the kindness in his eyes. "You're gonna give yourself a heart attack, Tom," Ellie teased, pouring him another cup. "That's the cigars you think I don't know about," she shot back, her hands moving with this precise grace, like she'd done it 1,000 times. Tom chuckled, but his eyes lingered on her. "You're a tough one to read, Ellie. Most folks here, I got their number, but you're a mystery." Ellie just smiled, wiping the counter, but I caught the brief pause in her hands, like she was guarding something heavy. I wasn't supposed to hear the whispers that came a week later, but in a town like Willow Creek, secrets don't stay buried long. Tom was at his desk in the sheriff's Stationa creaky old house turned headquarters when his deputy mentioned a black Cadillac Escalade parked outside the mayor's office, New York plates, driver looking like he belonged on Wall Street. Tom didn't like it. He'd seen too many outsiders roll into small towns with big promises, leaving nothing but empty storefronts and broken dreams. So he strolled over to the town hall, a brick building older than anyone alive, and walked right into Mayor Jenkins' office without knocking. Inside was Jenkins, a nervous guy with dreams too big for Willow Creek, and a slick stranger in a suit that screamed money. "Sheriff Tom Ballard," Tom said, offering a handshake that lingered a beat too long. The stranger stood, all smooth confidence. "Ray Carver, Pinnacle Ventures. We're here to bring Willow Creek into the future new mall, condos, maybe a resort by the lake." Tom didn't buy it. "Sounds pricey. What's Willow Creek need saving from exactly?" Carver's smile was all teeth. "Progress ain't cheap, Sheriff, but it'll put this town on the map." Tom nodded, slow, his eyes catching the hard-faced men loitering near Carver's Escalade outside. Not locals, not by a long shot. Back at the Rusty Spoon, Ellie's routine was like clockwork. Open at dawn, serve the breakfast rush, close by 3, then head home to her little house on Cedar Lane. But that Tuesday, just before closing, Ray Carver walked in, radiating money and menace. I was there, sweeping the floor, and I saw Ellie stiffen, tracking his reflection in the chrome napkin holder. "We're closing soon," she said, not looking up. "Coffee to go." Carver slid into a booth, uninvited. "Miss Morgan, I'd like a word." His voice was polished, but it carried weight, like he was used to getting his way. Ellie turned, leaning on her cane. "You've got me at a disadvantage, Mr. Carver." He smiled, handing her a glossy folder with plans for a massive shopping complex. "Pinnacle Ventures is transforming Willow Creek jobs, tourists, the works. Your diner's right in the middle of our footprint. We're offering a generous buyout." Ellie didn't even glance at the papers. "Not selling." Carver's smile tightened. "Everyone else on this block's agreed. You'd be the only holdout." "Then I'm a holdout," she said, her knuckles white on her cane. As he left, he paused at the door. "That limp of yours must make running this place tough. Everyone's got a breaking point, Miss Morgan." After he was gone, Ellie locked the door, her hands steady despite the tension in her face. She picked up the phone and dialed a number from memory. "Hawks landed," she said, her voice low, urgent. "Code 599. It's him, Ray Carver. He found me." See, Ellie wasn't just a diner owner. She'd been a big-shot lawyer once, a federal prosecutor in Chicago, taking on corporate sharks like Carver. 5 years ago, she'd built a case against him: racketeering, fraud, even murder. But witnesses vanished, evidence disappeared, and the judge retired to a fancy island villa. 2 days after the case fell apart, Ellie's car brakes failed. She survived. Her driver didn't. She'd come to Willow Creek to hide, to heal, but now Carver was here, sniffing around for something bigger than a mall. And I was about to get caught in the middle of it all. I'd learned early that Willow Creek wasn't kind to kids like me. My brace made me a target, so I had tricks: leave school early, avoid the park where Deke and his crows hung out, keep my head down. But that day at the bus stop, they'd cornered me. Deke was 28, too old to be picking on kids, but he had a mean streak and new bikes that didn't match his dead-end job. "Where you off to, Gimpy?" he taunted, looming over me. "Your mom's still slaving away at the grocery store?" I backed into the shelter, my heart pounding. "Leave her alone," came a voice. Miss Clara Evans, my history teacher, all blonde fire and no nonsense. She stood on the sidewalk, arms crossed. "This ain't your business, teacher lady," Deke snapped, dumping my backpack's contents onto the pavement. Clara stepped forward. "Give her bag back, or I'm calling Sheriff Ballard." Deke just laughed. "Old man's too slow to catch us." Then I heard the low growl of an engine, not a bike, but something heavier, older. A beat-up '76 Pontiac Bonneville rolled up, faded green paint gleaming in the sun. Ellie Morgan stepped out, cane in hand, her eyes locked on Deke like she was sizing up a rattlesnake. "Problem here?" she asked, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. Deke tried to play it cool. "Just chatting with Gimpy. Her name's Anna," Ellie corrected, stepping closer, her limp barely slowing her. "And you're harassing a minor on public property. Montana Code 45-5-203, a misdemeanor, up to a year in jail and $1,000 in fines." Clara blinked, surprised, but I saw Deke's confidence waver. "You threatening me, lady?" he growled, stepping into her space. Ellie's posture shifted, subtle but dangerous, like she was ready to throw down right there. "Why don't we find out?" she said, her voice low, daring him. His phone rang, breaking the moment. He checked it, scowled, and backed off. "See you around, cripples," he spat, and the crows roared off, leaving my stuff scattered in their dust. Ellie drove me home that day, the Pontiac's engine rumbling like a heartbeat. I sat in the passenger seat, clutching my backpack, stealing glances at her. "You don't have to be scared of them," she said, eyes on the road. "I'm not," I lied, then softer. "I just don't like fights." She nodded. "Smart. But sometimes fights find you." I hesitated, then blurted, "What happened to your leg?" She was quiet so long I thought I'd messed up. "Confrontation found me," she said finally. "Cost me more than my leg. At my house, a cramped duplex." She frowned when I said Mom was working the night shift. "You're alone all night?" "Since I was 10, I shrugged. "No big deal." But her eyes said it was. "Grab your homework," she said. "You're coming with me." At her place, a tidy little house stuffed with books, military history, law, biographies, Ellie cooked a real meal, not some microwave junk. Over chicken and rice, she asked about Deke and his crew. "They've been at the bus stop since school started," I said, poking at my plate. "Used to be just jerks, but now they're meaner, organized. Deke's always on his phone, getting calls, stepping away to talk. And their bikes brand new Yamahas, not the junkers they used to ride." Ellie's eyes sharpened, but she kept her face neutral. "Anything else?" I hesitated. "I saw them hassling Mr. Larson at the hardware store. 2 days later, his window was smashed." She nodded, then handed me a notebook. "Start keeping a log, dates, times, who they talked to, any new faces in town. Don't make it obvious." "Why?" I asked. "Because information's power," she said, "and we're gonna need all we can get." A week later, the town hall was packed, hotter than a summer barbecue. Mayor Jenkins was up there, sweating through his suit, with Ray Carver beside him, looking like he'd stepped out of a corporate boardroom. "Folks, this is the biggest opportunity Willow Creek's seen in years," Jenkins said, trying to sound confident. Carver took over, flashing digital renderings of a shiny mall, promising jobs, tourists, a new dawn for our town. Ellie, sitting in the middle with a clear view of every exit, raised her hand. "Your projections claim a 70% occupancy rate for retail in year 1, she said, her voice cutting through the room. "National average is 45%. How do you square that?" The crowd murmured, and Carver's smile flickered. "We have commitments from major chains," he said smoothly. "Can we see those?" Ellie pressed. "Confidential," he shot back. "Convenient," she said, not backing down. "And what about the environmental impact? This town's on a watershed. Where's your study?" The murmurs grew louder. Carver brushed it off, but Ellie wasn't done. "Progress isn't always progress," she said, standing with her cane. "Sometimes it's just destruction in a fancy suit." That night, Clara got cornered in the school parking lot by Deke and his crows. "Heard you're asking questions about Pinnacle Ventures," Deke said, leaning against her car. "Mr. Carver don't like that." Clara held her ground, but I could see her hands shake. "This is my town," she said. "I've got a right to know." Deke's smile was ugly. "Smart people stay out of his business, teacher. Accidents happen, schools burn, kids get hurt." He left her there, shaken, and she ran to the rusty spoon, bursting in as Ellie was locking up. "They threaten the kids," Clara said, pacing. "This isn't just business anymore." Ellie's face hardened. "Follow me," she said, leading Clara to a back office. She pulled a hidden lever, and a bookcase swung open, revealing a room straight out of a spy movie, monitors showing security feeds, maps, photos, a corkboard with Carver's face at the center, linked to news clippings about fraud, missing whistleblowers, murder. "My God," Clara whispered. "Who are you?" Ellie squared her shoulders. "I was a federal prosecutor, took on Carver and his company for racketeering, fraud, murder. We lost, witnesses gone, evidence vanished, judge bought off. My brakes were cut. I survived, my driver didn't. Now Carver's here, after something big, timber, water, maybe minerals." She pointed to geological surveys on the wall. "Whatever it is, it's worth billions." Clara's eyes caught a photo. Ellie, younger, on a motorcycle, arm around an older man, surrounded by bikers with a steel eagle patch. "Iron Eagles," Clara read. "You're one of them." Ellie rolled up her sleeve, showing a tattoo of the same eagle. "My dad founded them, veterans, lawyers, doctors, all about protecting folks who can't protect themselves. Doc Riley, the mechanic, was his best friend, came here to watch over me." Clara's jaw dropped. "And Anna?" Ellie's voice softened. "She's my niece. Her dad, My brother worked the Carver case with me. His brakes were cut too. He didn't make it. The storm hit 3 days later, rain turning the streets to rivers. At the Rusty Spoon, Tom showed up, soaked, with bad news. Carver's brought in Prozac's military, at least 10 at the inn. Ellie nodded. He knows who I am. He's moving fast. Her phone buzzed. Doc Riley. Crow's at the school. Anna and Clara are there. We tore through the rain, Ellie's Pontiac sliding but steady. Tom checked his shotgun in the back. You're not just hiding from Carver, he said. You're hunting him. Ellie's knuckles whitened on the wheel. He killed my brother, Anna's dad. I came here to keep her safe, but Carver found us. We skidded into the school lot just as Clara burst out, dragging me with her. 3 crows, not Deke, but harder men chased them. Tom jumped out, shotgun up. Federal agents, freeze. It was a bluff, but it bought enough time for Clara to get me to the car. Gunfire erupted, bullets pinging off the Pontiac steel frame as Ellie floored it, Tom diving in as we sped away. We headed for Doc's cabin, a defensible spot outside town. Inside, Doc was on a ham radio, fighting Carver's signal jammers. I sat by a window, clutching the geological survey I'd swiped from the mayor's office during a school tour. Lithium, I said, showing them the map, a massive deposit under the town, worth billions. Ellie looked at me, proud but worried. You're your dad's daughter, she said, then froze. Anna, your dad. He was my brother. My world tilted. Mom said it was an accident. She was protecting you, Ellie said. Carver killed him. I'm your aunt, Anna. I wanted to tell you, but it wasn't safe. Gunfire cut off my questions. Carver's men had found us, floodlights turning the cabin into a target. Doc led us to a tunnel under a shed, an old mining shaft. Ellie kissed my forehead. Go with Tom. I'll draw their fire. I grabbed her arm. I just found you. But Tom carried me to the tunnel, promising to find her. As we escaped, I heard Ellie's revolver, drawing the mercenaries away. Dawn broke, and Willow Creek was quiet, too quiet. Carver's SUVs patrolled, claiming a federal operation. But then I heard Ida rumble, like thunder, stretching half a mile. Motorcycles, 99 of them, led by Big John Carter, an old Marine with a silver beard and an Iron Eagle vest. The Eagles rolled into town, a disciplined army, their emblem gleaming as they set up a perimeter around the Rusty Spoon. At an old mining office, Tom patched a graze on Ellie's arm. That was some tactical retreat, he said. Not law school stuff. Ellie smirked. My dad taught me to fight before I learned to argue. Motorcycles pulled up Big John and 2 Eagles. You're late, Ellie teased, hugging him. You're supposed to be dead, he shot back, grinning. They planned fast. Clara would meet Carver with fake lithium data to trap him, while I'd get the real documents from a hidden vault at school. The town council vote was hours away, and Carver had most members in his pocket. At the school, I led 2 Eagles, Kate and Cars, onto a storage room. Behind an old map was my granddad's legacy vault, full of safes. I opened one, pulling out the 1986 lithium survey and his notes on sustainable extraction. This is what Carver's after, I said. Footsteps echoed Carver's men. We ran through the boiler room, Kate and Carson taking down 2 mercenaries with precision. Outside, Doc's team met us with a sidecar rig. Your chariot, he said, and I climbed in, clutching the documents, feeling like more than just a kid with a brace. At the town hall, the air was thick with tension. Mayor Jenkins tried to push the zoning vote, but Tom stormed in, shotgun down but ready. Folks deserve to know what they're voting for, he said. Ellie followed, then Big John, Doc, Clara, and me with the document case. This is fraud, Ellie declared, laying out the surveys. Carver's after a lithium deposit worth billions, and his mall's a cover to gut this town. Clara played her recording, Carver's voice admitting to fraud, murder, everything. The council gasped, Jenkins squirmed, and Councilman Larson moved to table the vote, calling for a federal investigation. It passed unanimously. FBI agent Laura Kane walked in, warrant in hand. Ray Carver's in custody, she said. Tried to flee by private plane. Walked into our trap. Ellie smiled, squeezing my hand. It's over, Anna. No, I said. The rebuilding's just starting. A year later, I stood at the Tom Ballard Community Plaza, the old bus stop, now a vibrant space funded by our lithium trust. I was 14, my brace painted with eagle wings, speaking to a crowd. A year ago, I was bullied here for being different. But Willow Creek showed me strength isn't about running, it's about standing firm. I looked at Ellie, now running the diner and advising the trust. My aunt taught me moral courage beats physical strength. Sheriff Ballard showed us one person can change everything. And the Iron Eagles? They taught us families about who shows up. The crowd laughed when I added, especially if they bring 99 motorcycles. Carver's trial was set, his empire crumbling. Even Deke Walsh was working off his debt to society, tending plaza flowers. Ellie and I walked to the new medical center, funded by lithium profits. Think I could be an eagle someday? I asked. She smiled, seeing Dad in me. Anna, you already are. The plaza's memorial read, the measure of a community is how it protects its vulnerable. And sometimes, all it takes is one brave soul and 99 friends on motorcycles. But here's the thing, Carver's gone. But others like him are out there, eyeing small towns, waiting for their shot. What would you do if your town was next? Drop a comment. Tell me how far would you go to protect what's yours? Share this story if it hit you, and let's keep the conversation going.